I'm officially calling this meeting to order. Regular meeting agenda item number 1, and I'm gonna call for regular meeting agenda item number 2, and I'm gonna ask Mr. Perez to lead us in invocation and a pledge of allegiance.
Yes, thank you, Mayor and Council. Thank everyone for joining us at this meeting. This is a hybrid meeting with in-person and Zoom, and so I appreciate everyone that's dialed in and joining us. I will ask that everyone please stand for our invocation and pledge of allegiance. Heavenly Father, we praise and thank you for the gift of this school year. It has been a time filled with grace and blessings, with so many challenges. As we start our summer full of hopes, please watch over us in the weeks of rest. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Calling for regular meeting agenda item number 3, Ms. Longoria.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council members. Just to inform, the Census Bureau began delivering 2020 census invitations and paper questionnaires today in areas where the majority of households do not receive mail at their address. This operation is crucial to ensure a complete and accurate count of all communities, which helps guide hundreds of billions of dollars in public and private sector spending per year. People are strongly encouraged to respond promptly to the 2020 census using the ID number included in the questionnaire packet. Responding with a census ID or paper questionnaire helps ensure the best count of their community. People can respond online, by phone, or by using the paper form in the packet. Census field staff have been trained to observe all social distancing protocols and will wear official government-provided personal protective equipment for their safety and the safety of the public. The health and safety of Census Bureau staff and the public is always a top priority.
Any questions on 2020 census announcement? What percentage are we in right now?
47.8, Mayor.
47.8, okay, I appreciate that. You know, we're asking the public to see if we could step it up to the plate, you know, and begin to, if you haven't fill out the survey, please fill it out, you know, and if you have, call somebody, call a friend, call your relatives and so forth, and help us out so we can get really the expectation is we want 100%. You know, right now with the funding that we're getting down from the CARES Act, they're using the census population to allocate the funding to us, and obviously if you don't apply and you don't get count, the city of Mission is going to be losing funding for the next 10 years, 2020. So that's how critical it is, you know, and not only the city of Mission, but also the county of Hidalgo and the state of Texas and also our school districts, all that have the public entities. So I encourage everyone to apply and send and take care of your census for 2020 for us and for the betterment of this community. Thank you, Mr. Longoria. Regular meeting agenda item number 4, Ms. Enriquez.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. We have several projects happening simultaneously, but I'll go ahead and get started with the Business Economic Recovery Committee. So we will be meeting this Thursday at the Chamber headquarters to identify goals and expectations per committee member. We want to make sure that we are all working hard to make sure that we meet our overall goal. But in order for us to do that, we each have to have shared goals. So we're going to be working on that this Thursday, so we're looking forward to it. We are also pushing our missionforward.com survey that is available. This survey is our business impact survey for the city of Mission. As of last week, we had about 80 surveys completed, so we're excited about that, but we still need to push more on it from all of our avenues and all sides. We are looking into translating the survey to Spanish. So this way, our business owners that prefer a Spanish survey will have that available to them. So regarding the chamber, we are collaborating with EDC and the city to propose a plan on how to allocate the CARES funding that's coming from Hidalgo County to help our small businesses. So we have a lot of great initiatives, great recovery efforts, great plans that we're looking at. So good things are coming to our small businesses in our city, and these will be proposed to City Council tomorrow, and then we'll take it from there. Educational webinars are continuing in the chamber, so anytime Governor Abbott does give another update, we provide an educational seminar on that. We also want to remind at this moment all businesses to follow us on social media if you're not already. All of our programming and our educational webinars are available to you through there as well. And tomorrow we do have our Facebook Live, The Way Forward series at 3:30 p.m. And we are, our special host is going to be Dr. Carol Bettis with Mission CISD, so we can hear how COVID has impacted the school district and then how they were able to adapt and recover and where they're going. And especially, it's going to be a really neat one because graduation is right around the corner. So we're excited to host Dr. Carol Bettis. And if you're able to, please join us tomorrow, Facebook Live at 3:30. And that is all I have for tonight, Mayor and City Council.
Thank you, Ms. Enriquez. Is there any questions by any other council members for Ms. Enriquez? No questions? Thank you again, Ms. Enriquez, and we're moving right along. Regular meeting agenda item number 5, departmental reports, please, council. At this time, you have the option to address any of the directors based on the information that was provided to you in your packet. And I'm looking for guidance from the council.
Mayor, I'm going to approve.
We have a motion to approve the departmental reports as entered. Do I hear a second?
Second.
We have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Regular meeting agenda item number 6. And I'm going to ask.
Mayor, I did not have anybody sign up.
At this time, we have nobody that has asked. Perez, you don't have anybody that has contacted you that need to. Moving right along, I'm going to call for the public hearings 1.0, and I'll call for 1.1, letter A, and I'm going to ask Ms. De Luna to please address this public hearing.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Item A is a rezoning for Lot 2 Leonard subdivision. The rezoning from R2 mobile and modular home to R3 multifamily residential. The applicant is Julio Abrego. If the council is inclined to approve this item, an adoption of an ordinance would be needed. The subject site is located approximately 200 feet north of US Expressway 83 on the east side of Inspiration Road. The lot measures 94.05 by 201.58 for a total of 18,958.60 square feet. The surrounding zones are to the north, multifamily residential; to the east, mobile and modular homes, C3; to the west, to the south is multifamily residential. Existing land uses in this area to the north are apartments; to the east is mobile home subdivision; to the west it's vacant lot; and to the south is residential. The site is currently vacant. The future land use map reflects a high-density residential designation. The property is in an area with a mixture of land uses since this lot has frontage to both Inspiration Road, which is a major street, and to J Avenue, a minor residential street. Access to the lot would only have to be deprived from J Avenue. Staff recommends approval. This is a public hearing. This item is now before you.
This is a public hearing. Anybody in favor or against this request? This is a public hearing. Anybody in favor or against this rezoning request? This is a public hearing. Anybody in favor or against this rezoning request? I have no indication anybody wants to approach the podium or the virtual. In that, I will seek direction from the council. as I close the public hearing. Go ahead.
Move for approval as presented.
Second.
Thanks, staff, for allowing access on Pavilion.
That was a good move. We have a motion and a second to approve this rezoning request. Any final comments by any of the city council members? No final comments. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries, and it'll be ordinance 4914. 4914 will be the ordinance that just have been approved, and I'm going to call for 1.1B. Ms. Luna.
Item B is a rezoning for a 0.59 of an acre tract of land out of lot 264, Johnny Sherry subdivision. They're rezoning from AOI, agricultural open interim, to C3 general business. The applicant is Terrible LLC. If the council is inclined to approve this item, then adoption of an ordinance would be needed. The subject site is located approximately 100 feet north of West 25th Street along the west side of Sherry Road. The surrounding zones to the north and east is agricultural, to the west and south is residential. Existing land uses to the north is vacant, and to the east, west, and south is all residential. The site currently has a commercial feed store that has been closed. Future land use map shows it as general commercial. The future land use map reflects a general commercial. Thus, C3 is directly consistent to the GC designation. The property has been used as commercial and has frontage to Sherry Road, which is a major street. Staff is recommending approval. This is a public hearing. This item is not before you.
This is a public hearing. Anybody in favor or against this rezoning request? This is a public hearing. Anybody in favor or against this rezoning request? This is a public hearing. Anybody in favor or against this rezoning request? I don't see anybody approaching the podium or the virtual, so therefore I will close this public hearing and open it for any discussion by any of the council members.
I'm going to approve.
We have a motion to approve. Do I hear a second? We have a motion and a second to approve ordinance 4915. Open it for final discussion. There being no questions, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Ordinance 4915 is approved, and I'm calling for 1 point.
Because I'm within the notification of that property.
Let it, for the record, let it show that Ms. Garza has abstained due to the fact that she is within the notification area. And so the record will show 4-0 with 1 abstain. Ms. Carrillo, we got it. Okay. Thank you, Ms. Garza. I will open 1.1 public hearing number C. Ms. Luna.
Item C is a conditional use permit to construct a new wireless 120-foot monopole cellular phone tower and associated ground equipment within a 10 by 15 leased area at 1419 T North Conway Avenue. The legal description is lots 11 and 12, block 230, Mission Original Town Site. Property zone C3 general business, and the applicant is APC Towers in care of T-Mobile. If the council is inclined to approve this item, the adoption of an ordinance would be needed. The subject site is located near the southwest corner of West 15th Street and Conway Boulevard. T-Mobile is in the process of improving their wireless communication in this area, and they're proposing to construct a 120-foot monopole tower. The proposed tower is outside any easements and is in compliance with the applicable building setbacks. Staff sent notices 19 notices were mailed, and staff has not received any comments in favor or against this CUP. Staff is recommending approval subject to transferability to 2 others, compliance with applicable insurance requirements on telecommunication towers, and 3, the acquisition of a building permit. This is a public hearing. This item is now before you.
Thank you, Mr. This is a public hearing. Anybody in favor or against the conditional use permit?
This is Charlie Mitchell representing APC Towers 4. I'm here to answer any questions. One clarification I wanted is the actual 10 by 15 is T-Mobile's lease space within a 48 by 30 compound. So we have enough space for additional carriers per the jurisdiction requirements.
Thank you, sir, for your input that the record be inputted into the record. Any other information, sir?
Not anything, except for if you guys have any questions, I'm here to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you, sir. This is a public hearing. Anybody in favor or against this conditional use permit? This is a public hearing. Anybody in favor or against this conditional use permit? This is a public hearing. Anybody in favor or against this conditional use permit? I'm closing the public hearing, and at this time, I will ask the council to see if they have any questions.
I move to approve.
We have a motion to approve. Do I hear a second? We have a motion and a second to approve ordinance 4916. And this I open up for further discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Ordinance 4916 is approved, and I'm calling for 1.1D. Ms. De Luna?
Item D is a conditional use permit for the sale and on-site consumption of alcoholic beverage at Tradicional, located at 302 West Griffin Parkway, Suites A and B. Legal description is Lot 2 Storage Depot subdivision. This is currently zone C3 General Business, and the applicant is Pan American Investment LLC. If the council is inclined to approve this item, the adoption of an ordinance would be needed. This establishment is located approximately a quarter-mile west of Conway along the north side of Griffin Parkway. A CUP for the sale of alcohol had been approved at this location on May 2019 for Atomic Springs and Grill. The applicant has leased the newly vacant building and desires a CUP at this location for the sale of alcohol for the proposed Mexican restaurants. The hour of operation are Monday to Thursday from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. and Friday and Sunday from 7 to 12 a.m. Saturday from 7 to 12 a.m. Sunday from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. There's a total of 8 employees that will man the operation during different shifts. Parking is shared in common. For the sale of alcohol, such uses need to be 300 feet away from any residential uses. Staff noted there are no residential residences within the radius. Staff is recommending approval subject to a 2-year reevaluation, at which time the applicant will have to renew the CUP and the TABC license. This is a public hearing. This item is now before you.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. Anybody in favor or against this conditional use permit? This is a public hearing. Anybody in favor or against this conditional use permit? This is a public hearing. Anybody in favor or against this conditional use permit? Nobody's approached the podium, and I don't see any virtual comments. Therefore, I'm going to close this public hearing and open it for any direction from the council.
Approval is presented here.
We have a motion and a second to approve ordinance 4917 as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Ordinance 4917 is approved, and I'm calling for 1.1E.
The next item is a conditional use permit renewal for the sale and on-site consumption of alcoholic beverages at Han Katsuya Restaurant, located at 600 North Sherry Road, Suite D. Legal description is Lot 1 Esdras Vega subdivision. It is commercially zoned, and the applicant is the Bathe LLC. If the council is inclined to approve this item, the adoption of an ordinance would be needed. The proposed 488 square foot restaurant site is located at the northeast corner of Sherry Road and 6th Street within Lot 1 of Esdras Vega subdivision. The applicant is requesting a conditional use permit renewal for his existing restaurant. The most recent approval was on May 14, 2018 for a period of 2 years. The hours of operation are Monday to Saturday from 11 to 9 p.m. Staff is 4 employees and the owner. Parking is held in common. Staff is recommending approval subject to a 2-year reevaluation, at which time the applicant will have to renew the CUP and the TABC license. This is a public hearing. This item is now before you.
This is a public hearing. Anybody in favor or against this conditional use permit renewal? This is a public hearing. Anybody in favor or against the conditional use permit renewal? This is a public hearing. Anybody in favor or against the conditional use permit renewal? I don't see anybody approaching the podium, and I don't see any virtual information that is given to us. Therefore, I'm going to close this public hearing and open it for direction from the council.
Mayor, I move to approve.
We have a motion to approve ordinance 4918. Do I hear a second? We have a second, and this I open it for final discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Ordinance 4918 is approved, and I'm calling for 1.1F.
1.1F is a conditional use permit renewal for the manufacturing and packaging of ice cream and chicharrones in a C3 zone at 204 West Tom Landry. The legal description is lots 3 to 6, block 175, Mission Original Town Site. It's commercially zoned. The applicant is Jorge Pascual. If the council is inclined to approve this item, an adoption of an ordinance would be needed. The subject site is located on the northeast corner of Perkins and Tom Landry. The applicant is proposing to renew his CUP to manufacture, process, package, and store ice cream and chicharrones within the existing C3 ice cream business. The CUP was last approved on April 10, 2017 for a period of 3 years. The hour of operations is Monday to Friday from 8 to 4 p.m. Saturdays and Sundays, the business is closed. They have 6 employees operating the business. The applicant has remodeled the site and made site improvements, improving the existing ice cream business. There are 24 parking spaces to accommodate customers and their delivery trucks. Staff is recommending approval for life of use, subject to continued compliance with all building, fire, health, and sign codes. This is a public hearing. This item is now before you.
This is a public hearing. Anybody in favor or against the conditional use permit renewal? This is a public hearing. Anybody in favor or against the conditional use permit renewal? This is a public hearing. Anybody in favor or against the conditional use permit renewal? I don't see anybody approaching the podium or the virtual information, and therefore I'm going to close this public hearing and open it for direction from the council.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve ordinance 4919, and this I open it for discussion. No discussion, therefore I'm going to call for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Ordinance 4919 is approved, and I'm calling for 1.1G.
1.1G is a conditional use permit renewal for an auto mechanic shop in an AOI zone. This is located at 1603 Adams Street. The legal description is a 0.85 acre tract of land out of lot 23-1, West Addition to Sherryland. The applicant is Marco A. Hinojosa Sr. If the council is inclined to approve this item, and adoption of an ordinance would be needed. The subject site is located 105 feet north of West 18th Street along the west side of Adams Street. The site currently has an existing masonry building with 4 bays of auto mechanic work. The applicant is proposing to renew this conditional use permit for the auto mechanic shop. This CUP was last approved on May 8, 2017 for a period of 3 years. Access to the site is from Adams Street. The days and hours of operation is Monday to Saturday from 8 to 6 p.m. There's only 2 employees that run the shop. For parking, there is a large asphalt area available for customer parking. There is enough room for 10 vehicles to be parked on site. Staff is recommending approval for another 3 years, subject to completely buffering the auto shop and continue compliance with fire and building codes. This is a public hearing. This item is not before you.
This is a public hearing. All those in favor, correction. This is a public hearing. Anybody in favor or against conditional use permit renewal? This is a public hearing. Anybody in favor or against this conditional permit renewal? This is a public hearing. Anybody in favor or against this conditional use permit renewal? I don't see anybody approaching the podium or receiving virtual comments. Therefore, I'm going to close this public hearing and open it for any direction from the council. So you go ahead.
Mechanic shop has been there for almost as long as I can remember.
It changed owners and the new applicant applied. This is the second time he's
Right, so
renewed.
should we do a life of use and it not be transferable in case he sells it to someone else?
We can do that if the council is inclined to do that. We have no objection to that.
That would be my recommendation.
If, go ahead and put it in the form of a motion that,
I move for approval subject to the life of use and it be non-transferable.
Second.
we have a motion and a second, and with the correction of from 3 years to life of use. And is there any questions by any of the council members? No questions. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Ordinance 4920 is approved. And I'm calling for 1.1H.
1.1H is a conditional use permit renewal to keep 2 portable buildings for office use on property zone AOI to be used in conjunction with a construction material storage yard. The legal is 11-acre tract of land situated in Porcion 55 and being out and part of Lot 13-6 West Addition to Sharyland. Agriculturally zoned. The applicant is BMK Materials LLC, in care of Victor Garza. If the council is inclined to approve this item, the adoption of an ordinance would be needed. The property is located approximately 1 mile south of US Expressway 83 along the west side of Conway Boulevard. The irregular site measures about 11 acres. The applicant is requesting to renew this conditional use permit and would like the board to consider approving the request for another 12 months to complete the project. The applicant has been contracted by an outside contractor to work on the levee improvements projects, and there has been delay on acquiring easements and notice to proceed. Therefore, the need to request more time. Staff is recommending approval, subject to a 1-year reevaluation to assess the operation. This is a public hearing. This item is not before you.
This is a public hearing. Anybody in favor or against the conditional use permit renewal?
Mayor, City Council, this is Victor Garza. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Victor.
Wanted
the
to,
floor.
yes, sir, thank you. So just wanted to reiterate that this is the first project that the council approved the CUP about a year ago. Due to constraints and delays from the United States Army Corps of Engineers, they have not been able to acquire all the right-of-ways and easements along the alignment of the border levee improvement on the south side of Mission. And so they've asked for, it could go longer, but we're requesting 12 months and evaluate then. They're hopeful that within the next 12 months, they should be able to complete.
Thank you. Anything else, Mr. Garza?
No, that's it. Well, the other thing is this yard, it's we followed all the guidelines that the city required a year ago. We only have the construction materials yard, the 2 portable offices. We are using the septic system that was approved by the city and the water well. On March 11th, I did want to make a note to the city council and to you, Mayor. On March 11th, both my father and I, who own this property, and myself, who own the adjoining property, did grant the easement, the 20-foot easement to the city of Mission at no cost, so that the city can continue with the water and sewer improvement project, which we desperately need in this area. So we fully support it, and that should be in the hands of the city of Mission now.
Thank you, Mr. Garza. Any more comments?
That's it. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council.
Thank you, Mr. Garza. This is a public hearing. Anybody in favor or against the conditional use permit renewal? This is a public hearing. Anybody in favor or against the conditional use permit renewal? This is a public hearing. Anybody in favor or against the conditional use permit renewal? I don't see anybody approaching the podium or asking for comments on the virtual. Therefore, I'm going to close this public hearing and open it for our council for some directions or any questions.
I move to approve the conditional use permit renewal.
We have a motion and we have a second to approve ordinance 4921. And this is an open for final discussion by the council. No discussion by the council. All those in favor say aye.
Okay, just real quick. I know it's only for 1 year, but isn't the plan to have the offices there for more than that?
If the plan is going to be there, then he has to come and rezone.
Rezone or?
Rezone. because this is a second conditional use permit.
So extending it another year wouldn't facilitate the process. I'm just asking.
Yeah, I'm still here, but I couldn't hear the question if it was addressed to me.
I'm just asking if it would facilitate your process and your project to extend the conditional use permit to 2 years instead of just 1?
Well, you know, and obviously, not only what we found is that the United States Army Corps of Engineers, I think, underestimated that in this part of the border, as opposed to other projects that they have between San Diego, Arizona, California, New Mexico, Arizona, the government already owns the easements along the border. In this area, it's private landowners, so they've been delayed. And then of course, the COVID-19 situation has further delayed things. So you bring up a valid point. We are obviously, time is of the essence on these type of contracts. We want to finish as quickly as possible, but we are in the hands of the Army Corps of Engineers working on multiple projects. And it's what I understand is that the real estate team within the Army Corps of Engineers is still the same staff, and now they've got multiple projects and hundreds of miles of projects that they're working on, both on levee improvements and in other areas, border infrastructure. So, you know, they've requested in at least 12 months. It could go longer. You know, we are willing to work with the city. We want to rezone and we want to subdivide, but given the fact that we don't have the utilities, makes it hard. As soon as the utilities are in, we'll definitely start working on the process. In fact, we'd like to start working on the process once the contractor, I believe the contractor has been awarded already, but they haven't started work. So if the council would consider granting this one for 24 months, if you remember the project that was approved, the adjoining property a few months ago in October, November timeframe was approved for 24 months. If the council would consider it, we'd be very appreciative of that. If not, we're willing to come back in and discuss in 12 months.
You have to rescind your motion.
I was gonna say, if you want to consider the changing the motion, because we were already in the status of voting, the one that made the motion has to rescind their motion, and the one that did the second has to rescind the second.
I do not mind rescinding my motion.
Okay,
I rescind my second.
and there's a resentment of and keep me right, Mr. Martinez, you know, that we do it correctly, okay? So they're, both of them, well, the chair recognizes the rescinding of both the motion and the second. And at that time, I will entertain the motion.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve the conditional use permit renewal for 2-year period.
The 2-year period, and we have a second in discussion. However, that doesn't keep the, in the event that we have the sewer and water, project completed, then that won't, that's not a waiver for you to wait till 24 months, Mr. Garza.
Yeah,
And I
yes,
think
sir,
we came with an agreement on that, and we'll, as far as that, I just want to make sure that you clearly understand that.
Absolutely, Mayor. In fact, we'd much rather be connected to city water and sewer than the installations we have at the moment. So absolutely would support that.
Thank you, Mr. Garza. Do any other questions? I'm going to call for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Ordinance 4921 has been approved with a 24-month conditional use permit renewal.
Thank you.
For the record. And I'm calling for 1.1 I.
1.1I is a conditional use permit renewal for the sale and on-site consumption of alcoholic beverage at Calos Salón de Eventos, located at 1516 East Expressway 83, Suite K. The legal is lots 5, 5J, 5K, 5L out of Stewart Plaza subdivision. It's commercially zoned. The applicant is Corinthian Calos Investors LTD. If the council is inclined to approve this item, an adoption of an ordinance would be needed. The subject site is located 400 feet south of US Expressway 83 along the west side of Stewart Road within a commercial plaza. The 9,240 square feet social event center was most recently approved on May 14, 2018 for a period of 2 years. The hours of operation vary depending on the events that usually take place during the evening hours from approximately 6 p.m. to 2 p.m., primarily on Fridays and Saturdays. Staff, we have 6 employees. Parking, there are currently 170 existing parking spaces. Staff notes that for the sale of alcohol, the zoning code requires such uses to be 300 feet from a residential areas. There is a residential subdivision within this radius, which is the Legends at Cimarron. So PNC and the council waived the separation requirement in this CUP previous approval. Staff requested a report from Mission PD in regards to the sale and on-site consumption of alcohol. This CUP was last seen. There has been no calls from the PD for this location. Staff recommends approval, subject to a waiver of the 300-foot separation requirement from the residential neighborhood, and that the CUP be approved for a period of 2 years, at which time the CUP and the TH license would need to be renewed. This is a public hearing. This item is now before you.
This is a public hearing. Anybody in favor or against the conditional use permit renewal? This is a public hearing. Anybody in favor or against this conditional use permit renewal? This is a public hearing. Anybody in favor or against this conditional use permit renewal? I don't see anybody coming to the podium or the virtual comments, and this, I'm going to close the public hearing, and I will open for any direction from the council for ordinance 4922.
Mayor, I move to approve the conditional use permit renewal. Ordinance.
We have a motion and a second to approve ordinance 4922, and this I open it for discussion by any of the council members.
Mayor, I just have a question for Susan.
Go ahead.
Just to refresh my mind. So usually, because has been a long-standing business in our community, it's always until their TABC license. When do we give life of use to?
We use, it's up to the board. The board, if they want to, they can approve for life use. But normally what we're doing is every TABC renews their license every 2 years. We could keep on doing it like that, or we could approve for life of use. It's been a business that has been there for quite a while, and they've been in compliance.
And so other establishments like theirs, we're doing it whenever they're TABC. Also, there's no other salon like this or.
There have been previous ones that are life of use.
Mayor, I would like to see if maybe we can consider that this be life of use also.
I would need for the,
Mr. Putnam,
Other than I will send it my note.
I'll resend my second.
we have a motion and a second that are rescinded, and the chair recognizes the recension. Therefore, I would open up for the discussion by any of the council members.
Yes, Mayor, I did not, would like to make a motion to approve the conditional use permit renewal for, Carlos, investors for, life of use due to the type of service business that they have.
Second.
So a motion and a second to approve life of use as a conditional use permit renewal. We'll open it for questions. Go ahead, Ms. Garza.
Non-transferable?
Yes.
And non-profit? Any other questions? No other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. The motion record ordinance 4922 is approved, and with the condition that is non-transferable for the record. I call for 1.1J, Ms. Luna.
Item 1.1J is the final plat approval for Lebanos Village subdivision. It's a tract being a 6.55 acre tract of land being the north to 16 feet of lot 27-2 west addition to Sherryland. It's currently single family residential. The developer is Leonel and Amparo Olivares, and the engineer is Naim Engineering LLC. The proposed subdivision is located near the northwest corner of Los Cervanos Road and Esperanza Avenue. The developer is proposing a subdivision which will consist of 19 single-family residential lots. Has city water and sewer. Drainage will be contained with the property by a detention area at the rear of the lots and outfalling via 8-inch PVC at two locations into two curb inlets located on the north side of Esperanza Street. Staff is recommending approval, subject to payment of park and capital school recovery fees, the water district exclusion, comply with other format finding, and that they escrow monies for sidewalk and street widening. This matter is now before you.
This is a public hearing. Anybody in favor or against the final plat approval? This is a public hearing. Anybody in favor or against the final plat approval? This is a public hearing. Anybody in favor or against the final plat approval? I don't see anybody approaching the podium or by virtual. Therefore, I'm going to ask the council for direction. But
Move to approve, Mayor.
Mayor, I second.
we have a motion and a second to approve, but I have a question and really it's more a comment that instead of the sidewalks for escrow, that the sidewalks be installed. Yeah, instead of because we want all sidewalks to be installed since we're also connecting the sidewalks to all schools. So you can help us out there pitching in. We can connect it. We're trying to connect all the schools. Any other questions?
Can we get the input of the poll on that issue?
The public hearing is already closed, but at least I don't know if he wants to address us or not. Mr. Olivares, you want to address? The change.
Something new that we didn't want to bring in. We're going to compromise on the city.
Process is that basically the subdivision is already in place. Is that correct? It's basically built out already. Utilities there, the streets there, this is the final step which basically means the staff went out and made sure that all the improvements were there. And so then it comes back to us for a final approval after all the improvements are in. So we didn't ask them to install sidewalks when we had the opportunity of free.
Again.
Yes. So that's the option that they took was to escrow the sidewalk, which it kind of, I think it's preferable because as they get people are coming in for a building permit, they'll, put in their sidewalk and they'll make the necessary adjustments to where their driveways and go in and that kind of thing. So that might have something to do with the sidewalk. And that's just my opinion.
Was the sidewalks escrow from the beginning?
No,
That's what I thought.
no, they weren't. They weren't
supposed to be
escrow.
installed.
We asked them to escrow. We talked to the engineer. I don't know if the developer.
Extension of the road. Just so it's not 2 weeks. It was never brought up.
So when they go get the permit to build a home, don't they gonna require for them to put the sidewalk every owner?
Usually when they, at the building permit stage, we ask that they do their part of the sidewalk, the current owner.
Yeah.
But they will be
With their permit.
installed, it will be done.
Mayor, I just want to make sure if I can comment, because
Go ahead,
like it's everywhere. I'm a little confused, but it's okay. I just want to make sure that if we're asked for anybody that wants to come into our city to build any type of development, that it's fair for everybody. I don't like that Mr. Olivares is in the audience and he was unaware because you all dealt with the engineer and that information was not relayed back to them. I think we all need to, maybe from now on, make sure that the engineer involves the developer as well or his client so that we could all be on the same page so that we won't have any. If we have documentation to prove that we had asked for sidewalks, I'm okay with that. But if we're just asking them and it hasn't been asked for other people and this is something new, that's what I'm not sure.
Usually it is a requirement.
It is a requirement.
It is a requirement.
Because right now what we're asking Mr. Olivares to escrow money into for the sidewalks, you know, when the sidewalks were supposed to already be, should have been already put in.
I mean, there's the subdivision that comes to mind right now is the new one that's being built out right now on Stewart and 2 Mile Line. I think the road is Stone Gates Drive. And I'm sorry? Yes. Okay, so that, you know, that subdivision is rapidly being built out, but the lots that aren't built on don't have a sidewalk because the owner, as they're being built, will put it in.
Part of the driveway.
Yes, and yes, it's part of the driveway. Some of those driveways will be a stacked driveway. You know, so you have your driveway coming in into the lot, and it's kind of combined, the sidewalk and the driveway. So I think it's kind of it's kind of a you know, you're spending extra money basically, because the owner or the lot owner basically paid for that escrow, and then they're coming in, they're having to break it, and then they're, you know, build out another driveway.
So it is best for them not to build the line.
Right, and that's why it's.
A lot of people prefer to escrow the money or have the builder, the homeowner, install the sidewalk when they're constructing their home.
The subdivision doesn't look good, you know, in the fact that somehow the ones that are built only have the sidewalk. You know, so it doesn't make I mean, if we're gonna put sidewalks into the code, might as well put the sidewalk completely, you know, and connect it to our schools.
Is it a current ordinance that all subdivisions, what is the current ordinance back when we did the preliminary plat?
I believe it is, that we require sidewalks.
Yes.
Well, yes, so the sidewalks are required, that, I
But
guess. And
But for this particular subdivision,
No, for any.
For any.
does it have to be, they have to be installed, because like I was saying.
most of the time they escrow the money. That's usually how it's mostly done. They escrow the money. Once they are ready to build, the developer or the owner is the one that does that when they construct the home.
Randy, can we get your input on this?
So we do have a subdividers fund that we have, the escrows for, whether it's a, escrow for sidewalks or street widening and so forth. So it is, we do have the, depending on the subdivision, then those funds are escrowed into that, fund to be able to, provide that, as they're being subdivided. So, when does the sidewalk get built? So as it was mentioned, yes, the sidewalk does get built as the owner constructs the residential lot. They continue adding the piece of sidewalk to connect to the existing or any future development next door. So yes, like Ms. Gatsa mentioned, the sidewalk placement would interfere the alignment of the driveway. And so therefore, during the planning process, whether the driveway is on the either side of the lot, at that point, they complete the sidewalk to the rest of the lot.
But
I guess for me, Susie, it's kind of, when I built my house, it didn't have a sidewalk. My builder put it. So I would hate for the
The homeowner.
the landowner to do that if it's not what the person that's gonna build their home? Is there a way that we can, after all the lots are sold, of course, have to have a sidewalk in front of their house? Right?
If
That's
they,
part of the construction.
if
of
they
any
escrow
home.
the money, then yes. If they escrow the money, the developer escrows the money, that can be done when the homes are completed. Then they can do the sidewalk because the money will be there to put the sidewalk.
Yeah, but do you give that money back to the developer?
If the homeowner puts,
I mean,
Yes.
most of the time, the sidewalk, it is included with the driveway and all of that.
that money, if the developer, yes, it gets reimbursed back.
But in this case, this, which I think is the right thing to do, but I think it's also very important that we have that in writing and bring it up to the developer at the time. And I think it's also our responsibility to make sure, I guess we need to verify the next one to make sure that they're gonna escrow for that. But in this particular case, I think that didn't happen, correct?
We got confirmation from the engineer this morning, Barry, on that.
That was,
That they were gonna ask for the money, but we assume the property owner knew,
Or we
not just
cannot-
the engineer, and that's not what happened.
We cannot be assuming, I'm pretty sure we heard that expression before. How many lots? I don't remember.
19, a total of 19 lots.
How do you go about the price for the sidewalk?
The engineer, that's brought from the engineer. He provides a list of how much it's gonna take to escrow the money for the sidewalk and the street line.
Is that on the breakdown of the development costs? For the
That is-
sidewalk, the escrow?
If I may, Mayor and Council, good
Please
afternoon.
identify
This is
yourself.
JP
for the
Terraza,
public.
city engineer for the city of Mission. So the escrow for the sidewalk and the roadway, it's in Los Ebanos, not Esperanza. I think we're getting confused here, so.
okay.
So it's only about 200 feet of Los Ebanos expansion that we're getting escrow for it, because it's only a little piece. So it's not for Esperanza. So yes, every
Not for
house,
the
every
house.
driveway is gonna have a connection and continuity on sidewalks.
So what do we-
So the escrow that the developer is given us is on Los Ebanos Road.
So what are we doing about the interior sidewalk?
That's gonna be placed with the driveways.
That's gonna be what?
That is gonna be
They're
poured
gonna
in with the
install it
driveways.
when they install, when they build.
So we were talking about when the.
Yes, so we're getting confused between Esperanza and Los Ebanos. So Los Ebanos is gonna get escrow and not Esperanza. Esperanza is gonna get built. Okay.
As the.
I'll take the other.
As it's been built per house.
It's a requirement for the building permit.
Correct.
Given the explanation, I would go with the escrow.
Okay.
Given the explanation, because,
The mayor wants it.
I just wanted to clarify that. so.
yes, I,
How much is on the linear square footage on that? What's the square footage on the sidewalk on Los Ebanos?
It's approximately 250 feet of linear feet.
And how much is the dollar amount?
Right now, it's about $15 per linear foot.
So how much are we requesting to escrow?
So right here, the engineer submitted an estimate that I reviewed, that I redlined. So right now, he has $2,592 for the sidewalk only. But in total, including roadway, flex base, hot mix, it's a total of $11,824
yes,
For Los Ebanos.
for Los Ebanos only. So yes, but I redlined it today because I received it today. I received this escrow today.
explain to the public what you mean by redlining it.
So I redlined the estimate that the Guillermo Arratia, that's the engineer that the developer hired. So he sent us an estimate of how much it's gonna cost to build the roadway extension. So he breaks down per items, a sidewalk, roadway, caliche, hot mix. So I review item per item and the dollar amount for that item. And I found that the two of the items are kind of low. So I increased them a little bit more. And also I wanted to add lime because when you extend the roadway, since right now it's a bar ditch, it has been underwater for so many years that I want to add lime to it. So that's how I redlined my estimate. So the 11,824 is gonna increase to a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because I'm requesting more items, so
To how much?
I don't have it with me right now, but, I'm guessing approximately, what, $16,000 from 11,000 in total, yes.
Not additional.
No, not additional, so it'll be like $6,000 more.
The developer knew about this development from the beginning? Is that in the cost breakdown?
Like I said, I received this estimate today, and I redlined it today, so I don't know if that was enough time for the developer to.
Development costs?
There is no sidewalk to Los Alamos, it's a very.
Yeah, no, I understand now. That's why.
495, and there's a very big drop.
But
So
that's why I'm approving my recommendation to do the escrow, because at first I thought it was Esperanza that was gonna be escrow, and, and yes, but Los Ebanos, we understand. I'm accepting that part, and that's why I said I'll accept the escrow part for Los Ebanos.
Yes.
So, any other questions? Rafa, you have like puzzle face. Do you have any final questions before I call for a vote?
No.
Mr. Choa?
There's houses right next to this development, right? How long has this piece of land been empty in the city for? Like, how long has the neighborhood there been developed? Other houses in that area?
Yeah.
My only concern, Mayor, is that, I would like for any land developer to come into our city and wanna, do subdivisions with the least amount of, I don't want to deter them from wanting to come and build in our city, for items like this. And if the land to build the sidewalk on Los Ebanos is already pretty bad, and that's why the cost estimate is gonna be higher, I think we need to meet with them in the middle to see how we could best service that, so that we get, and both of us are happy.
So that's the dollar amount today. So how I compare my estimates, I go to the low bid prices on TechStat website.
Okay.
So that changed quarterly. So those are the lowest bid prices that we get. That's how I get that number from. It's not a number that I come up with, or it's a historically number that I get with.
So is this sidewalk gonna be connected to Crystal Estates that is on the south side?
That is correct.
Do
Yes,
we
sir.
have sidewalk on Crystal Estates?
Yes,
We do?
yes.
On Los Alamos Road?
On the zone road, yes,
So this sidewalk,
correct. And it's widened on that section also.
this one is winding too?
The street is
The
wide.
street is widened, but considering that this is just a little piece, that's why we're getting the escrow.
Yes. We have submitted for the development of Los Alamos Road for that section, the TechStat. So if we get that funding, there's no need for him to do that. See, that's what I was asking. I didn't know it was for Los Alamos. That's why I asked that. But that's why I didn't want to escrow, but because it's for Los Alamos, I'm going with the escrow. Now, thank you for that explanation, Terra. Well, I want to call for a vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye, right? All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. She will clarify right now as a summation. Do you wanna?
Yes, the estimate was.
Mr. Terraz, do you want to come over here and answer Mr. Olivares' question?
I'm sorry, what was your question? Yes.
He wants to know
I
what's
want to know what they would have, is it, I have to go sidewalk and. No, it's gonna be escrow. Well, it was, I'm doing a paper. That's correct. But I don't know why. There was never, we never discussed it in the part. So it's either you build it or you escrow it, one of the two. Either you build it right now or you escrow it. So only two options, that's our ordinance procedures.
And you say across the street, there's a sidewalk all the way to where to, how far is that sidewalk? This was south.
I'm not really sure how
Some
you
have
have.
weather every day and there's no good. I mean, no sidewalk. You said that it's.
Let me call, Mr. Taras, the amount of money that he needs to escrow, I think that needs to be documented for the record, so he can know what he needs to.
Yes, Mayor, that's why I asked for an updated estimate, because this one is not.
Okay, so as of right now, his engineers,
Video of his engineer
Okay.
to provide us with this estimate.
we'll, what is the updated one there that was redlined?
We don't have the updated right now. The existing one that they submitted today, it's for $11,824.50,
And the projected one for the city will be approximately 15,000, right?
more or less.
Not
Yes.
much.
Yes.
Okay, so at least we get that out on the record. Okay,
I just don't like the fact that we don't have all of our stuff together, because if I was to, I mean, you need to give me a number. I mean, that estimate, I mean, Jason is right to know how much is it that you're gonna escrow. And we give him the final approval. So we need to have the final numbers. I would appreciate for something like this,
So,
not to be, excuse me, let me finish, to be brought to us without being complete. We cannot go by estimates. We need to have the final numbers. And if the engineer did not submit it to you in advance, or we should have asked for it before it brought up to us.
or put it on hold.
He did ask for that information. It was barely.
But as of right now, it is not. We don't have, we're going with an estimate. How do we know if it's $20,000 or $15,000 or $11,000? It is an incomplete presentation to me.
you bring a good point, Mr. Plata. So in my opinion, it's just an estimate and it doesn't reflect any percentage that may increase in the future. So everything goes up in every
I
year.
understand, Mr. Terraza, that needs
We
to be
base
the
it on
final
estimates.
numbers. You need final numbers. We're gonna approve final numbers, not estimates. That's my opinion.
That is correct. Yes, sir. So that's why the ball is in his engineer, not on us. So at the pre-construction meeting, when we have pre-construction meeting for all these subdivisions, we
But we're
request all
gonna
these
make an
ones.
approval based on the final numbers. And it's our job to make sure we get their engineers to give us the final numbers.
Yes.
So I guess, Susie, just reiterating what Mr. Plata is saying is that if the other party wasn't able to come up with the information, we should have just put it on another agenda, I'm thinking, when everything is said and done. My thing also, Mayor, if I may ask a question. If I go over there, if I drive by there where this neighborhood is gonna be built, all the surrounding development around there, I'm gonna see a connecting sidewalk then, right, in the front?
Correct.
If you have an
There should be, yes.
There should be.
I'm sorry, but it's not.
That's not something I've been paying
It's already,
attention.
the agenda item has already been, so I can't extend the.
Because I would not want to escrow, I would want the sidewalk.
What we could do is table the item or take no action and we'll bring it till.
I'm very sorry, but I'm gonna have to put a stop to the discussion because I know our city attorney just stood up and when he started, but this agenda item has been approved already. And we need to move forward and if we have discussions later on, staff take it with the city manager and then the city manager will bring it to us. Either if we need to have a special meeting to discuss the issue or whatever, we'll go ahead and do it. But I'm sorry, but as the chairman of this council right now at this time, I have to put a stop to the discussion because that discussion is not on the agenda anymore because the agenda has already been approved. So I need to call for 1.1K, a public hearing, and I'm gonna have to call the public hearing now with Ms. Longoria. Thank you, Mr. Olivares.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council again. Item 1.1K is a public hearing for the proposed annual action plan fiscal year 2021. I did want to recognize Rosie Lopez is in the audience here. I'm not sure if any of the other members are on the Zoom. The annual action plan describes the proposed activities recommended by the Citizens Advisory Committee on May 12, 2020. The 2020 CDBG allocation is $974,730, and the activities include Amigos del Valle for home delivered meals, $30,000. LRGVDC, Area Agency on Aging, $7,000. Easter Seals, RGV, $4,000. Camp University, $4,300. Hope Medical Services, $5,000. Children's Advocacy Center, $15,000. Casa Vidal County, $3,000. Silver Ribbon, $6,000. Comfort House, $4,500. Housing Assistance Program is $664,700. Housing Administration, $83,000, and Program Administration, $148,230. This is a public hearing, and the 30-day comment period ends on June 15, 2020.
As a result of this public hearing, we got to open it for public input at this time. This is a public hearing for the proposed annual action plan for fiscal year 2021. Any input? Anybody wants to come to address the podium? This is a public hearing for proposed annual action plan for fiscal year 2021. Is anybody from the podium or virtual? This is a public hearing for the proposed annual action plan for fiscal year 2021. I don't see anybody approaching the podium, and I don't see anybody giving virtual comments. Therefore, I want to close the public hearing for the proposed annual action plan for fiscal year 2021. Mr. Martinez, I don't think we need any action. This is not an action item. It was just a public hearing. Am I correct? So thank you.
Mayor, may I ask a question about two of the agencies? I just never heard of them. I wanted to know, I just would like to know what Camp University is and Hope Medical Services.
Sure. Camp University provides funding for disabled individuals that are 18 and over that have completed their school, and now they have no activities, or they teach them life skills, trying to be a productive citizen in the community. They train them for jobs and things like that so that they can be productive in the community.
And Hope Medical Services is located in McAllen, and they provide medical service and counseling services for free to the community.
Yeah, Hope.
Yes,
We hadn't given to them before.
No, this Camp University a long time ago, but Hope, this is a new agency, as well as Comfort House.
For mental health services at the Hope Medical Clinic.
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
free of charge.
Yes, thank you.
So that's why we support it. Calling for item 2.2, consent agenda item. All consent agenda items are considered routine by the city council and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless the council member requests an item to be removed and considered separately. The city council may take various actions, including but not limited to rescheduling an item in its entirety for a future date or time. The city council may elect to go into executive session on any item, whether or not such item is posted as an executive session item at any time during the meeting when authorized by the provision of the Open Meeting Act. Keep in mind, if there's any of the councils, the consent agenda item 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, 2.4, approving resolution 1668, 2.5, and 2.6, and 2.7. Council,
Mayor, I would like I would like to discuss 2.7, like what exactly was donated.
Okay, 2.7 will be
2.5.
2.5. Any other? Council, any other? Okay.
That's 2.5 and 2.7.
A motion to accept consent agenda item with a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. I'm gonna call for 2.5, and I'm gonna let Mr. Benson, is he located virtually or Mr. Perez? Mr. Perez, if you.
I can.
Yes, I was gonna say, I will call you to the podium.
He's in the other room.
You're good, Mr. Benson?
Yes. I can present, sir. I'm very familiar with this project. We're soliciting for bids for a pavilion at the Birdwell Park. It is part of the grant requirement from Texas Parks and Wildlife so we're gonna build a pavilion over the basketball, our current basketball court, as not only a grant requirement, but also to be used as for a tournament at the tennis center that'll have lighting and so forth. So it'll be a kind of a pavilion for those type of organized events. But it is a part of the grant requirement for us to build that. That's pending, and then also some solar lighting in the parking lot, as well as some exercise equipment at to complete the grant. So that's part of the grant requirement.
Do we have any plans yet?
No, sir, not, we do have some plans that we have done before in an existing pavilion. So we do have that available that we will be using for this particular pavilion.
It's just gonna be an open.
Yes, it's gonna be open. It's not gonna be covered. It's gonna be a certain portion down from each of the corners or each of the sides, I should say, but it's not gonna be covered. That's correct. So we are asking for approval, authorization to solicit for bids.
Do I hear a motion?
Move for approval, Mayor.
We have a motion and a second, and this I open it for further discussion by any of the council members. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 2.5 is approved.
Thank you.
Mr. Benson, and 2.7, Thelma.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. 2.7 is the approval of COVID-19 related donations that have been received by the City of Mission. And this is basically a list of items, services, donations that have come forth to the City of Mission for the use of the general public or also for our employees when it comes to like PPE supplies. So there's a whole list before you. I don't know if you have any specific questions for me, but we did go ahead and standardize a form that is presented to each vendor at the time so that they can identify what objects or what donations are going to come to the city and what value they have as well, and whether or not they're a city vendor.
Any questions by the council?
Okay, I guess I just later on would like to maybe have some type of presentation to thank them. Because I do know that a lot of people do things on their own without the recognition, but it would be nice to kind of just see what the type of things they give. So I'm thinking and guessing that they're giving masks, hand sanitizers, probably food.
Lots of food was donated to our first responders, our law enforcement community. There was several donation of monetary donations, checks that were written out to the food pantry. There's a lot of that. And then of course there's some PPE supplies, surgical masks and gloves and things like that we were using over at the EOC.
Great, thank you.
Do I hear a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve.
We have a motion second. Please, I open it for further discussion by any of the council members.
So you have to bring this to us so that you can accept it, because we've already accepted it. So I don't understand why it's on here.
We have accepted it, and it's just so that the council is informed of all the donations that have come forth in the name or to the City of Mission on behalf of the community. We wanted to make sure that we were very transparent and acknowledging the donations coming through.
Okay, Ms. Ida, whenever you do have the list, everything, you could please email it.
Certainly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. 2.7 is approved. I will go to 3.0, approvals and authorizations, and 3.1, I'm going to ask Mr. Salinas to address the item.
Yes, sir. Good evening, Mayor, City Council members. I come before you seeking authorization to award bids for the North Water Treatment Plant Filter Number 10 repairs. The City of Mission has accepted and opened 4 bid responses for repairs of filter number 10 at the North Water Treatment Plant. Staff recommends awarding to JMJ Diaz Corporation, DPA, J&J Constructors, who is the lowest responsible bidder meeting all specification. Again, the lowest bid, Mayor, came in at $49,900. Staff City Manager recommend approval.
Mayor, I move to approve to accept, to award the lowest responsible.
We have a motion. Do I hear a second? We have a second. This is open up for discussion. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. 3.1 is approved. Mr. Salinas, 3.2.
Yes, sir, Mayor, City Council members. 3.2 is the authorization to approve first one-year renewal option for the purchase of ready-mix concrete for the Public Works and Parks and Recreational Department. On May 2019, the City of Mission entered into contract for ready-mix concrete for the Public Works and Parks and Recreational Departments. Staff seeking authorization to extend for the first and final one-year renewal option with Papa Magic Valley Concrete. Cost of ready-mix concrete will increase 4% from the original bid of $104 per cubic yard to $109 per cubic yard as per contract terms and conditions. Orders will be placed on an as-needed basis throughout the one-year term. Again, staff and city manager recommend approval for this extension.
I move to approve.
We have a motion. Do I hear a second? We have a second. It is open up for discussion. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, same sign. The motion carries. 3.2 is approved. Mr. Salinas, 3.3, Mr. Salinas.
Yes, sir. Mayor, City Council members, item 3.3 is the authorization to award bid for sludge management services for the Public Works Department. The City of Mission has accepted and open one bid response for sludge management services. Staff recommends awarding to bid to Denali Water Solutions LLC, who is the sole responsible bidder meeting all specifications. Again, recommendation is based solely on estimated quantities and order will be placed on an as-needed basis throughout the one-year base term. Again, and the contract terms were for 1 year with 2 one-year renewal options. The total amount that is spent throughout the year, Mayor, is approximately $360,000. Staff City Manager recommend approval.
I move to approve.
We have a motion to approve. Do I hear a second? We have a second. It is open up for discussion. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. 3.3 is approved. 3.4, Mr. Salinas.
Yes, sir. Mayor, City Council members, item 3.4 is the approval of purchase laboratory services from Department of State Health Services, a sole source vendor. Again, staff is recommending the purchase of laboratory services from the Department of State Health Services, DSHS, a Texas government agency, as a sole source vendor. The DSHS laboratory is the only state of Texas operated laboratory in the Rio Grande Valley that accepts walk-in bacteriological samples for testing from the north and south water treatment plant, in compliance with TCEQ revised total coliform regulations. Again, attached we have, Mayor, the DSHS TCEQ certification. The total cost of Mayor Pro Tem for the 1 year contract will be for $14,000. Staff and city manager recommend approval.
Are there any questions from staff, or is there a motion to be offered?
Mayor Pro Tem, I move to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the item as presented. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries unanimously. Next item.
Yes, ma'am, Mayor Pro Tem, City Council members, item 3.5 is the authorization to approve first 1 year renewal option for roadside mowing and litter removal services for the Public Works Department. On June 2019, the City of Mission entered into contract with Gulf Coast Contractors, Inc. for roadside mowing and litter removal services for the Public Works Department. Staff seeking authorization to extend contract for the first 1 year renewal option. Cost of services will increase 5% from original bid as per contract terms and conditions. Attached is the extension letter from Gulf Coast Contractors. Again, contract services will be placed on an as-needed basis throughout the 1 year renewal service. Again, Mayor Pro Tem, Staff and City Manager recommend approval.
Mayor Pro Tem, I move to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the 1 year renewal option for roadside mowing. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say no. Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you. Calling for 3.6, Mr.
Yes,
Salinas.
sir, Mayor, City Council members, item 3.6 is the authorization for the first one-year renewal option for seal coat asphalt pavement services for the Public Works Department. On July 2019, the City of Mission entered into contract for seal coat asphalt pavement services. Staff seeking authorization to extend contract for the first one-year renewal option with Bathe Striping Corporation. Cost of seal coat asphalt pavement services will remain the same at 14 cents per square foot. Orders will be placed on an as-needed basis throughout the one-year base term. Mayor, staff, and city manager recommend approval.
Mayor, I move to approve.
We have a motion to approve. Do I hear a second?
Second.
We have a second. And this is open for discussion for any of the city council members. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. 3.6 is approved, Mr. Salinas. 3.7, I'm calling for that.
Yes, sir, Mayor and City Council members. Item 3.7 is the authorization to approve the first one-year renewal option for striping, paving markings, and crack seal services for the Public Works Department. On July 2019, the City of Mission entered into contract for striping, paving markings, and crack seal services. Staff seeking authorization to extend contract for the first one-year renewal option with Bathe Striping Corporation. Cost items for the services will remain the same at no increase in price. Orders will be placed on an as-needed basis throughout the one-year term of the renewal contract. Staff city manager recommend approval. Mayor.
Mayor, I move to approve the authorization for a one-year renewal with no increase in price.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, and this is open for discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. 3.7 is approved, Mr. Salinas, and I'm calling for 3.8. Mr. Flores.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Staff, we're seeking authorization to enter into an agreement with Insight Public Sector for an information technology needs assessment. Insight will work with city staff to identify technology needs, assess and prioritize them, and to provide a conceptual design. The deliverable will be a phased approach concept to outline funding and system requirements. Staff and city manager recommend approval.
What is, so we going into an agreement with?
No, he's,
It is an agreement.
oh, it's an agreement?
Did we go out for proposals?
And so this is the DRI contract, so they're part of a cooperative.
Okay,
So we did not have to go out for solicitations.
okay.
Are you familiar with this agency?
They have worked for the
I
city
thought we were
before.
gonna propose, I thought we were gonna bid it out.
No, sir. We had reached out to them in the past because we wanted to do something for our information technology systems. We were started negotiations prior to the Corona outbreak. And so we wanted to have an assessment done in time for our budget process, which is what we're beginning right now. We wanted to be able to identify our technology needs, assess where we're at right now and where we want to be. So the reason why we went to a DIR contractor was to jump on.
I'm with you
jump
with
on
the
time.
concept of conducting the needs assessment.
Correct.
But what I was kind of surprised that you already had a vendor, you know, and the question is because of the scope of work, you know, have we identified the scope of work, Mr. Pettis, already?
Yes, everything's in your
Agreements with
packet.
them?
Their credentials are there, and they have done work for the city before, and they also do work for several cities throughout the country.
And what is the cost?
It's 7,600.
I'm sorry for this, but.
No, it's at 20,800.
How much?
20,000.
Oh, because it's, okay.
Yeah, so this is David has been working with this particular vendor in this IT needs assessment. So this is one of the components that we want to factor into the CARES funding as well, considering that we did face some challenges during this pandemic regarding not only remote teleworking and so forth, but also the capacity of our current system. And so this is one of the items that we would factor into the CARES funding to be able to identify the IT needs assessment for the future, but also to determine the upgrades that are necessary for any future pandemic moving forward. At the same time, to also identify the key components that are needed for the upgrade for this particular needs assessment.
I'm with the concept of the conducting the needs assessment.
Sure.
I don't think that's the question is who's the vendor and are we in compliance? Are we in the compliance with because most of the time when you have what did you say that
It's a DAR contract.
Normally it's the number is stated there on the contract, on the agenda item.
So it was not stated on the contract. It was on the nature of the request though. But yes, the DAR co-op contract is like your buy board and so forth that go through the procurement process. But yes, absolutely, it's not on the agenda item itself. That's correct.
And basically the concept is, are they a good vendor? Or are they the best vendor?
Yeah,
You know,
Derek Weaver is
for
on
$20,000.
Yeah, Derek Weaver is on the call, so I don't know if you, Derek, I don't know if you want to say anything or if you got some questions for Derek.
So the name of the firm is Inside Public Sector.
That is correct.
Where are they from?
Derek Weaver office out of,
Yes, sir.
I think their office is in McAllen. The office out of McAllen, Derek?
Yes, sir. We're on North McCall and McAllen. We work with a lot of city municipalities, counties here in the Rio Grande Valley. We do these assessments a lot with folks like you guys and help them in their needs assessments.
If I may, Mayor, this particular item, we can put it out for, if that's the direction that the mayor and the council would like to put it out versus going to DIR contract. The purpose of this, they've like we all know that they all have gone through the procurement process.
Guidance from the council.
Sure.
That's how you
Yeah, I do have a question. I don't necessarily want to not act on this item. I just, is this, are they strictly a needs assessment corporation? Or, I mean, are they just gonna come and tell us what we need, or will they also sell us the what we need?
No, they're not going to sell us anything.
Okay, and
They're not partial to any software or hardware.
Okay.
The scope of work, what they will do is they will come assess our IT infrastructure. Then,
And what impact COVID-19 did to it, you know?
correct. So what they'll do is they'll go department by department, sit down with each department, assess their business processes, and through that identify any IT needs that how we can improve our operations. So then what they'll do is then they'll come back and compile that information, present that to us, and it'll be presented as a conceptual design with a phased build out. So that way we can understand, what it's going to cost us and what are the things that we need to do, like whether it's Wi-Fi or automate our payroll, accounts payable, things of that nature, which was very difficult for us during this pandemic period.
Well, one of the things that's cool that I want to be included is what's the cost of if we were to go citywide Wi-Fi?
Correct. Okay. Yeah. Things like that, and not duplicate efforts with the county. But yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
I'm
Nancy.
sorry, this question I guess is for Randy. If we were to go out for bids, have we already done enough research within the department, I guess, for purchasing to see if there's not gonna be any lower bids for such assessment?
Normally if it's a DIR contract or co-op, they've already gone through the procurement process and therefore their competitive pricing. Now, I mean, there could be a chance, yes, whether it's something that's less. It's just at this point, because of being a part of the co-op, they've already gone through that process.
And time is of essence also.
I'm sorry, ma'am. Did staff reach out to them or they reached out to us?
Yeah, they had come to us. So coming from McAllen, and I'm pretty connected with the IT community, with Farm McAllen and throughout the valley. I believe there was.
How about Mission IT community?
Mission IT community?
Yes.
Yes, yeah. I mean, like I said, they've done work with us before. So they approached us and we sat down with them probably 3 or 4 months ago. And so not until a couple months ago was when we started getting a little more serious. And then of course the pandemic thing happened. And so kind of pushed it back a little bit.
Got one more question. If this is approved today, when would they start? How long would it take for them to give us the assessment?
I told Derek, I said, because we want to be able to get the budget to the county. I asked them to start tomorrow, and they've agreed.
And the length of time is going to be, the payment is going to be for how long?
Yeah, Derek?
Yeah, I mean, we can work immediately on getting this done. We've got guys here locally. We have an office of 20 people here in McAllen that deal specifically with the technology needs of a lot of public sector accounts here in the Valley and elsewhere. So yeah, we have the resources to get started right away.
The question is, how long once you get started that we're going to have the end report?
Well, it depends a lot on when we're sitting down with each individual department and getting those meetings set. That's going to be a big component of this. And then, but
Can
gathering.
you give us your professional estimate of 12 months, 6 months?
Yeah, so Mr. Flores gave me a target date of the end of June because we need to get this stuff to your county for the CARES Act.
So 1 month.
Yeah, that'll be good.
So by the 4th of July, we should have a report.
Yes. Or we end the contract.
If we approve by July 1st, we will.
I'm comfortable with this concept
What?
because, they're not going to try to sell us the equipment or oversell us on equipment and software. So that being said, if you're ready for.
Yeah, they're going to provide us basically like a roadmap or a blueprint of what we need to do to based on the needs of all the directors, of all the departments. So,
Okay. Like for me, I'm kind of like, what if there was a mission company that could have come and done business here?
Were they on the bid catalog? Any companies from Michigan? Or you don't know? Yeah.
If I could add something, sir, we currently work with the Mission Police Department. We provide a lot of their technology needs currently. So we work with them on a constant basis for acquisition of equipment, laptops, and things that they need at the Mission Police Department. And we have been doing that for a few years now.
I just think, like my opinion, Mayor, I'm sorry, we're gonna pay a company $20,000 to come and tell us what we already know we need. We've been saying this.
But we don't have the specificity of the local area network that we want to establish for the city. I think that's what the needs assessment is they intended for, to give us a specificity of the local area network that we want to develop for our cities, and especially functioning under emergency crisis situations like the COVID-19 or any other virus that comes into play. Because we did experience from the Emergency Operations Center, starting from the Emergency Operations Center to my office, under emergency conditions, that we experienced a lot of difficulties with our current system. So the need to conduct a needs assessment is there. That I want to make that point. You were going to say, Ms. Garza, I'm sorry that I started talking.
Lost my train of thought, but them having a local office in McAllen, and they have 20 people on staff there, that's important. The fact that they're working with Michigan Police Department is a helps, because they're already, abreast of that situation. If you're ready for a motion.
I'm waiting for Mr. Vela to give us his take on this. Okay. Mr. Doctor, you have any last comments?
No, I'm okay and I'm ready. I just wanna.
Okay, I'm ready to.
Make sure they give me a date or less appointment.
I move for.
I'll stay on, sir. Yeah.
Move for approval, and requesting that all information and investigations and everything and presentation be done by June 30th.
Yes, and second, and open it for discussion. I just want to make sure that you include in the scope of work that they're going to have to do a workshop to the council on once the report has been done, the way we did the drainage, the drainage needs assessment plan.
Yes, sir.
Because that works tremendously well. Any questions? Mr. Choa, you?
Good motion.
No, I'll just remind everyone when something like this comes up again, that we don't have to go out for certain projects.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Now I'm going to call for 3.9, Mr. Flores also.
Yes, sir. We seeking authorization for the mayor, city manager, or designee to negotiate an agreement for the operation and maintenance of the Rio Grande Valley State Veterans Cemetery. The Texas Veterans Land Board reached out to the city of Mission to offer the city to operate the Rio Grande Valley State Veterans Cemetery. The Veterans Land Board will fund the operation and maintenance to include in capital improvements for the cemetery. Staff and city manager recommend approval.
Do I hear a motion? We have a motion. Do I hear a second? We have a motion and second. It is open it for discussion. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. 3.9 is approved, Mr. Flores, and calling for 3.10. And Mr. Benson,
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. I have before you item 3.10, which is the authorization to accept grant from the United States Tennis Association. The amount of the grant proceeds are $4,000 for the tennis center at Birdville Park, also $2,000 for tennis courts at Benson Pond Community Park. The purpose of this non-matching grant is for the purchase of tennis balls and teaching equipment such as tubes, carts, and hoppers. Also cleaning or sanitizing supplies, and also services of non-touchable items such as scanning software. Upon purchase of a new equipment, USTA will reimburse the city of Mission. Staff and city manager recommend approval.
we have a motion to approve. Do I hear a second? We have a second. Open it for discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. The motion carries. 3.10 is approved, Mr. Benson, and calling for 3.11 for approval of resolution 1669. Mr. Cardoza.
Thank you, Mayor, City Council. Item 3.11 is the approval of resolution 1669, amending resolution number 1666 of the City Council of the City of Mission, adopting the State of Texas Executive Order GA-23 and the County of Hidalgo's amending emergency order 20-007, instituting subsequent measures due to a public health emergency regarding COVID-19 pandemic. Governor Greg Abbott issued Texas State Executive Order GA-23 on May 18, 2020, related to the expanded reopening of services as part of a safe strategic plan to open Texas. On May 21st, 2020, County Judge Richard Cortez County of Hidalgo issued the amended emergency order expanded notice of services. These orders are to expire June 3rd, 2020 at 11:59 p.m. Staff and city manager are recommending approval.
Do I hear a motion? We have a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
We have a motion and second to approve resolution 1669. Open it for discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. 3.11 is approved. 3.12, Ms. Vela. Please identify yourself for the record. Since I made the mistake.
Good afternoon. My name is Cecilia Garcia, and today I'll be presenting for Andrew Vela. Item 3.12 is the tax collection report for the month of April 2020. The 2019 total adjusted tax levy for taxes was $22,874,522.45, and the amount of collections as of April 30th, 2020 is $21,379,381.11, which represents a 93.46% of the total 2019 tax levy. Total delinquent taxes, which is on the other page, was $2,216,238.31. And the amount of collections as of April 30, 2020 is $291,512.90, which represents a 13.15 of the total tax levies from previous years. City staff and city manager is recommending approval.
Move for approval as presented.
We have a motion. Do I hear a second? We have a motion and a second. And is there any questions on the tax collection report for April 2020? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. 3.12 is approved. 3.13, Mr. Bilbanes. Mr. Flores.
I would like to discuss 3.13 and 3.15 in executive session, if at all possible.
Mr. Martinez.
It's possible, Mayor, to the limited extent that it has legal ramifications. I would recommend finishing up the agenda first, because it's just two more items.
Okay.
And we could take those two items plus the two we already have as a lump.
Okay. So I'll call for 3.14, Mr. Silva.
Good afternoon, Mayor, City Council. Daniel Silva of Mission Economic Development Corporation. Item 314 is requesting authorization to approve a memorandum of understanding between the Economic Development Corporations of the City of Mission and the City of McAllen, for the use of certain facilities and corporate ventures. This agreement speaks to corporate ventures and the benefits not only for the representative cities, but the surrounding communities. The agreement also speaks to the ability to share certain city facilities as necessary and if available. If approved, the MOU will be sent to the McAllen EDC and the City of McAllen for their approval. General form and language of this MOU has been jointly approved. The MEDC approved this MOU at our meeting on May 20th, 2020. Staff and City Manager recommend approval.
So this is just for the MEDC facilities?
This is actually to joint market the two cities. In the case that we need training facilities, they could use a seed, or if we need to do things in McAllen, we could use the McAllen facility. But really the spirit of the MOU is to show that the two cities are working together as we attract manufacturing skill training.
Yeah, I move to approve.
We have a motion to approve. Do I hear a second?
Second.
We have a second, and this I open it for discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. 3.14 is approved, and you're gonna have to wait for 3.15.
Yes, sir.
You know, 3.16, Mr. Pettis.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Item 3.16 is discussion and possible action on modifying the opening of City of Mission facilities. The City of Mission has begun reopening city facilities and programs. Employees continue to prepare buildings and programs. The city plan to aim at being responsive to the community's needs for programs, services, but is prioritizing the health and safety of staff and citizens. So at this time, we do want to just inform that we will be looking at a couple of reopenings to include, currently right now, our city hall has been open and we're averaging about 60 citizens to come in through our buildings daily right now. So as of June 1st, we are opening a portion of our lobby for our utility billing for new customers only. Everything else will be handled to the drive-through. In preparation for the summer, we were looking at the summer programs that we currently have. At this time, we are looking at a late start for summer programs, and that includes Boys and Girls Club and also our Parks and Recreation. We are going to be opening, we will be offering, or we want to offer a summer sports leagues for the majority of them starting in July with some registrations in June. That is also a plan that we're working on, is looking at different sports, preferably outdoor sports for the kids to participate in the summer. We will be also planning for, the social distancing and safety for our citizens, where we're looking at seating and so forth for parents to come watch as they're participating in the sport. On the park side, we are looking at the swimming pools, but only for lap swimming exercise by appointment in certain times that we are looking at opening, and not necessarily a public swim at this time. We are monitoring our COVID cases daily in conjunction with the county. We average about one every 2 to 3 days here in our city. So we are closely monitoring that to be able to determine any future programming that the city is planning to do, of course, with the priority of the safety of not only our citizens and our children, but also our employees as well. At this time, we also are looking at limited activities at the museum as well. Library has been open to restricted amounts of citizens in the building. We have installed safety measures within the building itself to be able to reopen safely. And also we are asking that anyone in our city facilities to wear facial covering, as well as we are taking temperatures and doing some questions regarding individuals coming into our facilities. So that's what I have for this item, sir.
How many cases do we have today?
I did receive notification. We do need confirmation because we have 4 new cases today. However, we need to confirm the exact address to make sure that they're within our city limits. We have noticed in the past that even though we do, for example, that we do receive 4, we confirm the address that they're within our city limits. Some might be in our neighboring communities, but we just need to verify that. But that's preliminary numbers from our county.
And yesterday we had 3, right?
Yes, that's correct.
We had 7 in 2 days.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Any plans on the bathrooms for the park?
Yes, I did fail to mention, thank you, sir, for bringing that up. We did open 3 for the past week or so. We did open 3 major utilized park restrooms. Our plan is to start opening the rest of the restroom facilities in our parks. We understand the need that those restroom facilities are for our community and our citizens that are utilizing our parks, so that we do have a plan in place to be able to start reopening those parks restrooms.
I went ahead and added this agenda item for the purpose of the council, to see if the council had any intentions of modifying the opening and admission of any of the facilities, if you've gotten any phone calls, or, I know that we're working closely with the churches and the pastors, as far as that is concerned, but I kind of open it up for you all to see if you had anything that you all wanted to recommend.
Hand washing stations that have come in, new hand washing stations, like they're portable, actually.
Currently, we don't have any at the time, portable hand washing stations. But those can be either purchased or depending on, but yes, those can be looked at.
Those are important to have in, key places, of course. I saw one at the hospital, so I thought,
Yes.
I forgot to take a picture of it to send it to you, but I thought that was really, different and the works,
Accessible.
Yes.
It's works better with the hand sanitizer.
And that's something that I did ask the departments to put together a plan for a future, because of the CARES funding as well. That would be equipment that we would be able to look at for this particular future, any future and current pandemics.
Do I hear a motion to approve Mr. Pettis' recommendation of what he wants to open?
I'm going to approve, Mayor.
We have a motion. Do I hear a second? We have a second. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Mr. Pettis, your recommendations are approved.
Thank you.
I will entertain 6.6 executive session pursuant to VTCA Government Code Section 55.001. Do I hear a motion? We have a motion and a second. And then all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We will move into executive session.
Yeah, I'm with you.
We have a motion to reconvene. Do I hear a second? We have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Mr. Martinez, you have the floor.
Yes, sir, Mayor. Regarding 3.13, 3.15, authorization to solicit
For qualifications for environmental clearance and traffic engineering study, 3.15 being authorization to transfer approximately 0.88 acres from Mission EDA to City of Mission. These two were discussed in executive session. There has been a workshop agreed to for Monday at 3 o'clock tentatively. These two items can be tabled, but can be voted upon. I believe the will is to table.
I'll move to table.
We have a motion to table. Do we have a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
And those two are tabled for the first meeting in January, Mayor. June, sorry. 6.1A, revision of outside legal counsel contract and approval of outstanding invoices. It was agreed by the council that the action should be a motion to revise the outside legal counsel contract to reflect the wording of the charter, of the city charter,
We have a
and
motion.
approve the outstanding invoices.
I'll move.
We have a motion and second to approve the invoice for payment and to make the necessary changes on the contract. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. 6.1B, Mr. Martinez.
Yes, sir. Discussion of legal options available to maximize higher allocation of recent federal funding beyond proposed county allocation. The discussion in executive session, the motion is to pursue, if available, any legal options to maximize.
Do I hear a motion? We have a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
We have a motion and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. 7.0 adjournment.
I'm with you, adjourn.
Second.
First and second, I will make a comment that I know I skipped 5.1, 5.2, 5.3 as an agenda item. Do we have any reservations so I can go back and call it, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
We have